All right. I met a guy earlier in the show. His name is Richard. Can I ask Richard to please come to the stage? Richard? Let's give Richard a big hand as he comes down the aisle. Have you ever thought like what it would be like to go to your own funeral? Have you ever thought what that might be like?
Every day.
Right? Like, wouldn't that be interesting? Like, you could see who showed up, who cried, who didn't show up, right?
Right.
Yeah. I told him he wouldn't have to say anything, but now he's talking. So Richard, what I'm doing for you tonight is giving you the experience of having your own personal wake with all these lovely audience members. How do you feel about that?
It's like a dream come true.
Dream come true. All right. So what we're gonna do is, hold on. Let me get the first slide up here. So I have a coffin here. There you go. Are you comfortable?
Very. Thank you.
Richard, everybody. I have some people who want to kind of talk about Richard a little bit. They have how he's affected them. So I'd like to bring to the stage Doug. Doug, are you here?
You know, I remember when I first met Richard. It was during his raver phase. We met at a warehouse party in Chico in the mid-90s. The house music was kicking, and he was trying really hard to fit into the raver scene. He had big, goofy goggles on his neck and was always pretending like he was on drugs. But I know for a fact he was too afraid to take drugs. He was always sucking on those pacifiers that ravers are always sucking on, but not because he was on drugs. He just liked them. And he would do that invisible crystal ball dance, but it was always off enough where you would really just want him to stop, and I'd say, David, stop embarrassing yourself in front of our crew. Richard, I'd say, Richard, stop embarrassing, in front of the crew. And he was constantly asking where he could buy ecstasy, although he did not take ecstasy. And a lot of our crew used to call him a narc to his face, and we actually thought that he was a narc, but could never prove it. And I want to thank Richard for showing me what it looks like to be a fake-ass raver poser, even up until the day he died. Goodbye, David. Richard.
Don't clap, please. Don't. That was very lovely, Doug. Thank you so much.
My name's Scott. Richard, you were my best friend for so many years. How many years were we in the Chico Police Department together? 10? Your work as an undercover agent posing as a raver was parallel to none. All the long, hard hours you put in pretending to be into raver dudes, even years later when the case was closed. You were a stand-up guy. Now you're a lay-down guy, I guess. Ha 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 ha. Now that you're dead, I wanted to let you know that I'm in love with your fiancée, Linda. And she's in love with me, Richard. I'm sure you'd understand. We'll name our firstborn after you. Thank you, Richard, for being a true friend. A great fiancé to Linda, my future wife. And a hero to the people of Alameda who hated the raver community enough to hire an undercover detective to pose as a fake-ass raver. Rest in peace, buddy.
Thank you, Scott. Aviva, are you, yeah? Okay. Aviva, everybody. Thanks, Mac.
What up, dudes? I'm Aviva. I met Richard at Burning Man 20 years ago. As many of you know, Richard was a rule breaker, a genre buster. Some of you knew him as a raver, a police officer, an undercover agent posing as a raver. But he was actually a part of an anarchist art collective called Injustice Rainbow Parade. Our only purpose was to get the corrupt Chico Police Department from the inside, but like in an artsy way. And so, Richard went through years of rigorous police training and pretended to be bad at raving as an undercover raver. But you guys should know, that fool was hella good at raving. And hella sick at exposing police corruption. He taught me to fight for what I believe in, and to look in myself for true bodaciousness. So I'm looking in myself and realizing that I need a ride to Burning Man this year. So if anyone has any hookups on a ride, hit me up after the service. Catch you on the playa. Peace!
That was very touching, Aviva. Thank you so much. A lot of tears tonight, and I'd like to now play Richard's favorite song. To it anymore. It's bringing back too many memories. For those of you, I'd like to pick 8 people out of the crowd to pay your respects up here. Can just 8 people start lining up?
I always loved you, but I was too afraid of rejection. Luckily, you found somebody better.
It says take a selfie with the body, which is great because I lost my phone and I got to find my
Use this phone.
Okay. Daddy won't mind.
I was never a big fan of your acoustic album. It was too slow and your voice was kind of pitchy. All right.
You always said you wanted me to kiss you in the dark. So I'm doing it. With eyes wide open.
Oh my god!
Never forget.
That was the wild card. So there was a wild card in there. It just said do whatever you want. I didn't think that was going to happen. I'm sorry. Oh, this one is, he's supposed to pick Richard's pockets. The inside pocket, you had it. The inside pocket, just stick your hand in there. There's something in there. What'd you get? What'd you find? What'd you find?
Oh, Wet Hot American Summer, my favorite.
Yeah, Wet Hot American Summer.
I always admired your lack of style. It showed that you didn't care about nothing. Especially when you wore sweatpants in public. Everybody just bear with me because I knew Richard well and I want to get this selfie. This one's for you, dude.
Thank you, Jeremy.
Richard, Growing up, I always said no to you. But now, I have to let you choose what you want me to do to you.
So,
What
okay.
is that?
Well, you came in with a lady,
Yeah.
so that so Richard
Came in with a lady.
Is there any one thing that like at a funeral you would want to happen? Like, I mean, I don't know where this is going really. I just thought it would be interesting, and it's a lot to put on you. It's a lot of pressure. What do you think?
I mean, just a nice, polite handshake is really all I need.
Nice polite handshake is all he's ever wanted. She asked me where.
It was implied in the word hand.
It was implied in the word hand. Aww.
Mine says just cry.
I've never seen Lance show emotion. This should be interesting. Oh, right. Oh, it's a little too real. I didn't realize how real this would be. Because they're actually friends. So this is... Lance Smith, everybody. Lance Smith. Okay, yeah, this is the time to talk about. This is all really just to promote my new app, which is a funeral app that detects how successful your funeral was by how many tears there were and how many people attended. And you have a profile, and it's called RIP, our rest in rate your funeral with a PH. So.
Well, looks like I'm dead. I'd like to give a copy of my favorite comedy book by my favorite comedian, Bill Cosby, to Julie.
Julie, are you out there?
No, Julie's in court.
Well, regardless, Julie, you were never nice to me in real life. So I hope my dying makes you like me more. I know that Star Wars is hot right now, so I'd like to give my favorite Darth Vader writing book to my favorite enemy, Bill. You were a worthy foe. But as you can see, I've got way more people at my funeral than you ever will. So eat it. And lastly, I saved all the money that I made with my kombucha stand at Burning Man last year. And I'd like to give that to Gemini Moonbeam. She was always I left off that word when I was typing this for me. And lastly, I'd like to play my favorite scene from my favorite movie as I go get cremated.
It was the Matrix. It was the rave scene in the Matrix. Give Richard a hand, everybody. Richard, come here. He's alive!